It starts off small. The generator needs coal, building tents for the families needs wood, steel is needed to construct better machines, and, importantly, food is already running low. All working hands are occupied, and there is still so much to do. And then there's a little tooltip. A word of advice, it says, workers needed. It nudges you slightly to pass a new law. You open the book to pass your first. Adaptation, it says. Child labor, safe jobs, or child shelters. You need more hands. You take the workers. Welcome to Frostpunk, a game that I have described to people as a city builder, but it is really damn cold. The warmest day your new city will ever experience is -20°C or -4 Fahrenheit, and by the end of the game you'll agree with me that that is a lovely day. You play as this city's captain, and your omnipotent presence given one directive: the city must survive. You must do anything to fulfill that purpose. But be aware, if people lose hope or find you to be a terrible leader, you will be deposed. In this dreary situation fits the Book of Laws, one of Frostpunk's more important mechanics. It provides both the basis of control over the player's new city while simultaneously forcing the player to make increasingly uncomfortable decisions in the interest of protecting those who inhabit it. It does so by introducing increasingly radical, taboo, and unjust laws that cannot be repealed, with clear benefits to the player, such as the introduction of emergency 24-hour work shifts, making the player question whether the immediate benefits presented are worth the digital lives that it will harm. Frostpunk as a game challenges the player in several ways, both in terms of resource management, as one may expect of a city builder, but also in terms of managing the feelings of your people themselves. While you technically don't need to house your people, it will raise their discontent, and while you technically don't need to care if they die, it will lower their hope. Balancing these two stats alongside managing all the other problems your city may face is the primary gameplay loop of Frostpunk, and while different laws may make certain elements easier, they are not as simple to put in place as you may think. Two of the most central elements of the Book of Laws are that you can't see what your current law may unlock in the future beyond a certain point, and you can't repeal a choice you have already made. These 2 points are inherently illogical, but are necessary for both the point the game is trying to make and for the gameplay to function properly. Of course, if the player could later repeal the dueling law once they have solved problems with discontent, they would, as it leads to several deaths via a rather rudimentary method to let off steam, but they can't. The player accepts this, however, as they have taken on a illusory attitude. Described in Indrek Ryland's Squid Games and the Illusory Attitude from October of 2022, games inherently must have the player, quote, attempt to achieve a specific state of affairs using only means permitted by the rules where the rules prohibit use of more efficient in favor of less efficient means. Certainly providing an additional challenge to the player, the laws in the adaptation tree specifically certainly favor this, as they generally have a direct gameplay drawback to them as well. Put sawdust in people's meals to make them more filling? People will get sick. Put children to work in unsafe jobs? Some may die. But what if you could pass laws that don't have any real drawback? Midway through the primary campaign, A New Home, the player is prompted to defuse a period of extreme unrest in their city and is forced to choose a path of purpose. Laws with virtually no drawbacks, some literally only have the drawback you have to build XYs. This is where the game really uses morality to its advantage. As mentioned earlier, the Book of Laws doesn't allow the player to see many laws beyond where they currently reside, and this method of increasing the impact of affective events is not new. As Shaw and Worf said in their 2009 Worlds of Affect, Virtual Geographies video games, being able to hide certain events in a game world helps to increase the surprise and emotional affect of the event. While they were discussing the ability of 3D game worlds to fully hide events physically, the same concept is applied here in Frostpunk. Assuming the player decides to take the path of faith, one of the two options on the purpose tree, things will begin just fine. The first law, and the only visible one to start, is the House of Prayer law. The positives are obvious, and the drawback is simply that you need to build 2 houses of prayer. This then unlocks the law, Evening Prayers. This law has 0 ill effects at all. And then we get the Faith Keepers. After that, Public Penance. Then Protector of the Truth. And finally, New Faith, completely removing hope as a consideration. These laws are objectively good gameplay decisions, making your life as the captain significantly easier. And yet, they feel wrong. And for that reason, many players refuse to sign them into the books. A study published in 2012 by Weaver and Lewis, Mirrored Morality, an exploration of moral choice in video games, shed some light on this. In the study, a group of 75 players was recorded and interviewed about their experience playing Fallout 3, and it was found that the majority not only made decisions based on what they would choose in real life, but those who made antisocial decisions felt more guilty after the fact than those who didn't. The same concept is being applied here in Frostpunk, with the wording of certain laws and their effects also playing a significant role. Effectively building as a built-in morality scale, the costs, benefits, and particularly the flavor text and images associated with some of these laws make the player significantly more likely to avoid them than others, particularly on their first playthroughs, as found in the 2021 Morality Meters and Their Impacts on Moral Choices in Video Games, a qualitative study. Most players, when told that, quote, a public execution space will be built is a good thing, are likely to raise an eyebrow, and combined with everything else, they might just reconsider signing it into law. Frostpunk is one of my favorite games of all time, and for good reason. Its replayability, soundtrack, and challenging gameplay all give it an edge that many modern games don't seem to grasp, and the moral element of the game is one of its most important. It's no wonder, then, that as 11-bit Studios remasters Frostpunk and Unreal Engine 5, they're considering morality heavily. To quote one of their senior developers, Pavel Shiska, it's not obligatory for players to sign any law at all. It's always a choice. With laws and their narrative consequences, it's always a walk on the fine line between being too much and too little. Frostpunk's Book of Laws ensure that the player feels that precarious balance, and it does a fantastic job of trying to nudge you over the edge.